It's Thursday night, ATL Flag Football Podcast, and we are back in the building. It's your boy Low Man. I'm here with my Mr. Man, 5-star sports himself, Mr. James Reese is in the building. What up, James?
What's going on, guys? Tonight? What's going on? Just
ooh, wait, he blew that up right there.
Chilling, you know.
Yeah, you've had you a fun-filled day out there at Mercedes-Benz, huh?
Yeah. I was invited to a corporate event since I run a league out there for them. So it was nice.
That's
great
what's up.
event. They got cold as soon as that sun went down. It started freezing.
I mean, as soon as the sun goes down, man, that temperature changes immediately. Hey, man, so we got a lot to talk about tonight. Of course, we had the finale of the Pro Division and wrapping up the comp, I guess, this weekend, getting ready for all the playoff stuff, man. But before we get into flag football, of course, we always like to take a little trip on the other side of the non-football world, man. So much going on. Before I get into mine, James, I guess we'll talk about your guy for a quick second, man, Mr. Jerry Jones himself. So Jerry's just gonna fire everybody. Jerry doing a presidential thing now. He just gonna fire everybody. Huh? What's up with your boy, James? Talk to us.
He trying to fire the wrong people. That's the problem.
Right. How about that?
He's trying to fire the wrong people. So, he does a Tuesday morning interview on 105.3 The Fan, WKRD, the Dallas Cowboys flagship radio station. Steven comes on Thursdays. So he's been doing it for at least 14, 15 years that I know of. And so the hosts were grilling him about having not made any significant changes during the offseason and, his decisions. And then he got him so frustrated that he told him that, if he didn't start asking him some different questions, he would get somebody else in there who could. And so the radio host kind of laughed at it to try to play it off. And then he stopped. It's like, no, I'm not joking. I'm serious. And so we were all taken aback by that. And so I think it was a combination of being frustrated at where the team really is, in addition to not wanting to admit publicly that he made some bad decisions this year. And
don't leave out the fact that...
Not only that...
Okay, keep going.
Well, I'm going to say, and the worst part is, though, he has to accept responsibility for what his son and Will McClay really did. And see, that's, for the people on the outside, they think Jerry Jones, the president, he the GM, he make all decisions. But Will McClay and Stephen Jones make the majority of the personnel decisions now. But because he has the title, he has to accept that responsibility and the fault with it because he wants the glory with it. And so that was the bigger frustrating point for him, I believe. But you can't do that. You just can't do that. You just cannot. If you go pick a war, it can never be with the media because the media is undefeated. And then, all the media are now backing the radio host.
Of course.
Coming at him, making him look extremely bad because it was bad. It was bad. But again, you need to be looking at that person you paid $60 million to. That for some reason, everybody think he's the savior. He promised us a couple of seasons ago that he wasn't going to throw them interceptions like that. And this season, he's just throwing them like he's giving out Halloween candy early. Now, all of a sudden, him and CeeDee Lamb can't get on the same page. Got CeeDee Lamb coming on interviews lying to the public, telling us that he told that jump ball for. And I'm like, where you say that at? Because we all saw you tell him that was a subpar throw. But he trying to tell us, no, what I said was a jump ball for. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And the sad part was he couldn't even remember the lie. So when he was trying to say it, he was stumbling, and then somebody else from the organization was like, jump ball 4. He said, yeah, that's what I was saying, jump ball 4. So it's a crap show in Dallas right now. You know, it's a crap show. And then now I was looking to one guy on ESPN today, and he said actually Jerry's a genius. He said the Cowboys got humiliated, beat down, and embarrassed. The worst loss since Jerry Jones has owned the team. But nobody's talking about that. Jerry Jones has everybody talking about what he said and not the fact that we got beat down. That beat down didn't last because immediately they went to start talking about Jerry Jones. You don't see that on TV no more.
So you say he deflected all.
So they were saying that he probably could have said that to deflect from the fact that we got our butts kicked. So
well, let's help out let's help them out then. You guys got slaughtered. We'll help out. We'll help out the media and to help chime in.
So
and it was embarrassing.
So
they were running flag football plays. They had linemen actually running routes.
Yeah, the first pass he threw a seam route to the lineman. Then he did a hook and ladder with the lineman. And now I felt like that was a score. I don't know why.
It should have been a score.
Because his knee didn't touch the ground and he pushed off. So it should have been a score.
No,
but
they called it for something else, but it had nothing to do with the actual play.
Oh, it was a flag on the play.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there was the one in this lined up at the X spot running a slant. I'm just like, but see, that was two things. That was payback for the last 4 times. No, the last 4 times we've beat them down.
Okay.
That we faced them.
Okay.
But it also, people have to understand, you know, injuries happen and we all have to deal with them. Everybody gets injured. But the amount of injuries that we have is ridiculous. Our entire defensive line are all out. None of our starting defensive linemen are playing. We're missing a starting linebacker. Our starting corner is out. The backup corner for him is out. We signed 2 people off the practice squad to have to play cornerback. We're missing our left tackle. We're missing our number 2 receiver. So we have injuries beyond injuries. And so they just exploited it and took advantage of it.
Because you know, the one thing about NFL, there are no pity parties.
No, they're
nobody
not.
Feels sorry for nobody.
Absolutely not. They do
Facts.
not. You know, we didn't feel sorry that we beat the Steelers down last week because y'all were injured. So no one's going to feel, especially because of who we are. Especially because of who we are. No one's feeling sorry for us.
That's correct.
But the facts are the facts. We were just depleted. And they took that opportunity to get back on us from, you know, because they were going all the way back to in the Romo game when Romo beat them, you know, and, you know, oh, well. So, you know, but at the end of the day, I still had to wake up the next morning and put the star on my hat and represent for my Cowboys.
I mean, as a true fan, it's supposed to do.
You know, but I don't take this as hard as if this would have happened last year. And then last year, I probably would have, not come outside for a couple of days. But the injuries that we have, you know, it's bad.
Do you think your team has a run in it this season?
So I looked at our schedule, right? And then I looked at the other teams in the NFC. And coming into last week, we were number 7 in the conference. You know, as bad as we've played, we were number 7 in the conference. Now, I haven't looked at where we're currently sit in the conference, but I think it's possible that we can slip into the playoffs. Going further into the playoffs, without some major trades at the deadline, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Because I honestly, I don't even think it's enough out there to help us right now.
I agree with that. Especially with what you need.
Yeah.
What y'all needed was that dude in Baltimore And I don't know why y'all didn't get him, and now made us have to deal with him. But
You talking about Derrick Henry?
Heck yeah.
Now, see, I differ on that, and I'm gonna tell
Do
you why.
Really? Tell me why.
Not that I don't I think Derrick Henry would have made a difference last season.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
We have no offensive line. See, that's another thing. In addition to the starters we're missing a lot of people that we had last year. Our starting center and starting left tackle from last year are both gone. You know, so we have 3 rookies on our offensive line. And like I say, one of them hurt right now. So the line is one of the biggest problems we have on offense.
But your guy was getting older though.
Huh?
I mean, that's the NFL. The NFL, realistically, nobody returns the same team in NFL.
No. I'm not saying because he was getting older. I'm just saying, but the replacements aren't replacing.
Okay, that's different. That's different.
And so even when you watch, Rico Dowdle, Zeke, Deuce, whatever it is, they get hit in the backfield. It's not a lot of. When you getting hit in the backfield on the majority of the plays, it don't matter who running back out there. Because now you're getting slowed down so everybody else can get to you.
No, I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he could have gotten a few extra yards here and there, but I think if you have him in Dallas, he's being saying, oh, that was a bust. They shouldn't have done it because I don't think the line is good enough.
Everybody would tee off on him, similar to what we did with in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
When Najee coming out of the game, everybody knows the run. That's why they put 9 in the box. So we do the same thing with him. There's no threat. There's no threat of going downfield.
At all, because when he's in the game, you know he's a threat. The regular people are getting in the backfield. Not even the blitzes. We had some games.
Just the regular front.
They had some of the games had 3 linemen, and they were still getting in the backfield. So we're just depleted.
Now, last question for your team, because we'll move forward. Was Jerry Jones' statement strictly about white privilege?
Which one?
Him saying he gonna fire. I mean, the whole conversation. Was that just a simple? I know you said deflection, but was it more so just? I'm a rich billionaire, and you guys are not.
I would say more that than white privilege. Although majority of the billionaires are white, I could see some rich black guy in that position saying that to somebody that called him out. Well, if you think your subordinates are calling, unfortunately, I really do think Jerry believes he's paying them. I really do believe he thought that. Because it's been going on for so long. He writes so many checks. I think he believed that he was paying them. But I do think that was a privileged billionaire.
Not necessarily paying. I think he's
upset that somebody had the audacity.
I'm giving you the opportunity to interview me. How dare you ask me these questions? How dare you?
Yeah. I'm the reason that you're doing this. No one else.
Right.
And
I can see that.
I'm beyond reproach because I make so much money.
That's correct.
So that's how I feel.
Okay.
But he was wrong, and I cannot defend that. I've not seen anybody defend it. Cowboys, anywhere. So, man.
I got you. Hey, listen, real quick before we jump into flag football, the early election started on Tuesday, the 15th. I know there's people on here that don't vote. But I just want to take this time to say to you, you should vote, right? And I want to say, and we say this all the time, shout out, but anyway, you vote locally, you think globally. B. Marsh, thank you. Shout out my boy B. Marsh. You think globally, you vote locally. You have to think beyond the presidential elections, folks. All right? Just, if you take the president and the presidential election out the race, there are still a lot of people on that ballot that need to be accounted for, okay? So I know some of you feel like, oh, it don't matter, I'll vote. Some of you have learned about the Electoral College and the Electoral College. Oh, that's great. But that stuff has nothing to do with the city council, with your House, with your Senate, with your Board of Education, with the sheriff, with all the other people that's on that ballot. It has nothing to do. And then I want to speak on the referendums that's on the back of the ballot that you may not be aware of. All right? There's referendums that you need to realize that they are trying to control a lot more things. There's one on the tax. I won't break it all down. If you look on my page, it's all broken down for you. But the tax courts, they're trying to make the tax courts one court, which will be controlled by Superior Court, which means you can no longer go in there and fight for your own city taxes. You have to pay for a lawyer. You have to pay for a lawyer. Okay, so they're trying to hit your pockets there. There's a referendum in terms of your homestead exemption, trying to go from 6,000 to 20,000. 20,000 sounds great. You're thinking, oh man, they're gonna give us 21,000 on our home exemption. No, they're not. That's gonna benefit the guy in Alpharetta that actually wrote the bill, which is gonna make his taxes go down. But if you don't live in Alpharetta in one of those mansions, your taxes are gonna go up to match his taxes. So we just have to dig deeper. And if you don't go vote at all, you just didn't vote for this referendum that can affect your pockets. I tell people all the time, the presidential election has very little to do with the average person's day-to-day life. It has very little, it's gonna impact your day-to-day life very minimal. But your House election, your Senate election, your City Council election, the Board of Education election, the Sheriff election, these things affect you on a daily basis. Your taxes, things of this nature, is going to actually affect you, and not just you, your kids, your wife, your family. These are the parts that affect you directly. So disregard. If you don't care who wins the presidential election, fine. But you should care who's on your Board of Education, folks. You should care who's going to be on your city council seats. You should care who's going to be in the House and Senate, which actually gives the power to the president in the first place based on their votes. So these elections are important. They are important. The mentality that I don't vote because I don't think neither one of them are for us that's on the presidential side. But your city council seat is extremely important. That seat is very important. Who's there? All right? Your Board of Education. They're trying to make it say that slaves came here for a better way of life, people. You know what I mean? You know how to get away with that? Because you don't even know who's on your Board of Education that's voting for this stuff. That's all I'm saying. Marjorie Taylor Greene gets reelected, which is insane. But look, she has the benefit of living in a town that some of these black folks probably they won't vote. They're scared to vote. I mean, some of these people still put their heads down when they see white folk coming. I mean, some people live in towns like this. You know what I mean? All I'm saying, you need to vote. If you don't care about the presidential election, I get it. But you should care about your House, your Senate, your City Council, your Board of Education, all those other local seats. You should care about those. You should care about the referendums that can affect your pockets. You're not thinking about it now, but if you ever had to go in there and fight for your taxes, and now I got to pay for a lawyer, you know what I mean? We just got to think bigger, people, all right? So get out there and exercise your right to vote. You got to do on that, James?
I 100% agree, because like I said, before we went on air, I voted on Tuesday. I was in the first 300,000. I won't be here on election day, so I made sure I got it out of the way. But there were some there was an item on the ballot that I wasn't familiar with. There were 3 items, and I read them and made basically used the context clues in the statement to make my choice because I didn't know about them. But then you posted something that I read that made me realize that I voted in the wrong direction. So, if you live in the area, there were the 3 things that Angelo just talked about, and, definitely pay attention to those and research them. Even if I would say go a little bit step further. He just told you what they were, but do your own research to make sure that because I was not expecting that particular item on the ballot. That's all right. The other stuff I saw for the people, I did. But those 3 items I did not. And in hindsight, I feel like I wish I would have not voted. But yeah, they word the stuff. I think they word it in a way to make you think that it's a good thing.
That's right.
And that's what they did.
That's right. That's right. They word things because they understand. They word it very strategically, and they make it sound. If they want something to pass, they're going to word it a certain way, so that if you don't read it, if you don't research it, because this is face facts. No one just, unless you're in any kind of legal type world, you're not going to really understand some of the depths of those things. And that's why I thought it was important to break that stuff down, right? So, if you don't like to read it or you're going to vote and you want the cheat code is answer no. I'm going to give you the cheat code. If you don't live in Ackworth, if you don't live in a 800,000 and up house, your cheat code is, the answer to those questions is no. Just the cheat code, all right? On all the referendums, because they're not going to benefit the average day-to-day person, okay? Just reality. They're not going to benefit you at all right? But please look up your local elections. Please look up those people who are running. This is actually the opportunity that you have to voice your opinion and voice your reason on things you want change in your community. This is your opportunity. We can't ask for change if we don't go out there and make it. We have to stop focusing on just the presidential election. It's so much bigger than just that position. And you got to vote for the position that actually affect you and your community. All right? Yeah, with that being said, we'll move forward. 5-Star Sports, flag football, the Pro Division had their season finale, regular season finale this week. Comp Division, they're up this week for their season finale. So there's playoff. I don't know how many playoff implications still alive in the comp division. But the Pro Division came down literally to one of the last games.
Literally.
So, with that being said, man, let's jump into it.
So we'll start out with our Pro Division first from last week. Our Comp Division, I'm sorry. We'll start out with our Comp Division. So the first game of the day over at McNair featured the undefeated Outsiders coming in at 4-0 versus ATL Outcasts looking to punch their ticket into the playoffs. Outsiders have been on a roll this season.
So they've let us know.
They've been on a roll. They joined us last week, form of the previous Outsiders, but they were here and, but they said very clearly that they expected to take care of business this week, and that they did. They beat Outcast 20-12. So there was no surprises there. You guys all picked Outsiders in that game. In the second game, they went to look for the sweep of the week against Fly By Night, who again looking to get a win to solidify their ticket into the playoffs. That did not happen. Outsiders won again, 16-6. So not only are they winning, they've been putting up points, and their defense has been not allowing a lot of points. So then we had Georgia Raiders at ATL Outcasts. Raiders have been a shell of them former selves. Again, Outcasts, they're just looking to get another win in. Both of these teams needing to secure the win to punch their ticket, to solidify, brother. Angelo, you picked Outcasts. Dwayne was so far behind. Speculatory. He picked Raiders, and then Billy picked Outcasts. I don't know how many games behind Dwayne currently is, but he can take one off that list. Raiders beat Outcasts 7-6.
Is that right? Ain't that a blip?
I don't know. I didn't see it. Okay.
Zakira Casado said, "Hey James, I don't know if I said your name right."
Zakira.
Zakira, excuse me.
Yes, that's the host of the women's podcast up in North Carolina, and the Z Truth podcast coming to the radio waves near you soon.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
And so the next game we had Fly By Night at United. United joined us again a couple weeks ago. Said that it's time for them to put their foot down and make a statement about who they are. And then, of course, they're playing Fly By Night. It was a close one, you know.
Okay.
I think United is. I think they're tired of letting these close games slip away. You know, they come out there, they fight hard, and then, you know, they end up losing by a point. So this time they decided to win by a point. So they won this one 9-8 over Fly By Night to give Fly By Night a 0-2 start. Dwayne, that win you picked up, you can wipe that out. I get it. So the next game we had Big Swamp.
So me and Billy picked the same team?
Yeah, you and Billy picked
Okay.
United. We had Big Swamp at Georgia Raiders. Billy, you and Billy picked Raiders. Dwayne picked Big Swamp. We were looking for Big Swamp to get back to their old ways of winning. We did not expect Raiders to do much because of Reflex and who was going to be there. But the winner of this game, you know, again, took a step forward towards securing oh, no, I'm sorry. I got a message. You know, so, but again, the winner of this game, once again, takes another step towards solidifying the playoffs. So Dwayne picked up a win, but then he lost the win. And so that put him back at even again. And so now Dwayne is one further back. Big Swamp did not produce, unfortunately. Raiders beat them 10-0.
10-0.
So the Big Swamp struggles.
I gotta find out what's going on with the Swamp
Continue.
Boys, Swamp Bucks, though. Coley, you gotta holler at me, man. What's going on?
The next game we had United at LOZ. You know, LOZ came back this season. They came in hot, but they just hadn't been able to do it. Billy, you and Billy picked United. Dwayne picked LOZ. You know, United has not been consistently going 2-0, so there was no reason to suspect that they would go 2-0 this week. So Dwayne, your pick for LOZ, you just added another loss to your record.
Dang,
United came in and took the sweep to keep pace to try to, you know, let outsiders know they have competition. And so now we have LOZ at Swamp Bucks to close out the game. Dwayne, you and Billy picked LOZ. Angelo, I don't know if this was a sympathy pick to try to give them some cushion. You picked Swamp Bucks.
did I really?
Yes, you did. You know, Swamp Bucks just has an issue with people showing up. You know, LOZ's issue's been finishing games, but they've had people to show up. So you had a non-finisher versus nobody there. And so, and this week, Big Swamp showed up. Big Swamp beat LOZ.
God, dog. Look at that.
15-6.
What? That's what I'm talking about, Swamp Bucks. Man, y'all had me smile for y'all all season long, man. That's what I'm talking about, Swamp Bucks.
So
I had a feeling, man. I had a feeling.
is that what it is? You had a feeling.
I had a feeling, man.
So,
Smoke Dog said, we ain't got no competition, no shade. God, dog, no competition. Ooh-wee. Boy, the playoffs, boy, playoff football, though.
So, now, so yeah, that was Dwayne, you had a rough week. You had a rough
Also
week.
got Billy by a game on that week, too, because he picked the other team, so.
Yeah, you had one loss. Billy had two. Dwayne had four. So we'll take our talents over to the pro division and let Dwayne catch up. So we opened up the pro division with Rare Form.
Oh, for that was Swamp Buck's first win of the season?
Yeah.
God dog. God. Man, that's good.
So we go back over to the pro division. So we opened up the day. It was three teams that opened up the first three games: Georgia Elite, Rare Form, and Shockwave. All three needing the win for different reasons. Georgia Elite needed the wins to solidify the overall number one seed in the league. Rare Form needed the wins in order to make the playoff. Shockwave needed the wins to solidify a playoff spot. So they opened up the morning with Georgia Elite at Rare Form. Billy took Rare Form. Dwayne took Rare Form. Angelo went out on a limb and took Georgia Elite.
You were trying to keep up. Justin told you don't get him no sympathy picks, remember?
This was a good game. Game could have went either way. There was not a clearly dominant team, so to speak, but nobody was out there laying down. But an injury to the quarterback can change the outcome of the game. Your quarterback get hurt, no matter how much you were supposed to win that game, you can lose it very easily. Especially if your backup come in throwing pick after pick after pick. So, and that's kind of sort of what happened in this game. At 14-6, Rare Form lost. And like I said, their quarterback got injured and speared, so he had to leave the game. Not to say that Georgia Elite could not have won if he was still there, but I think that just took all the hopes out of Rare Form of winning. So with that loss, that eliminated Rare Form from the playoffs. The next game was Shockwave at Georgia Elite. We had an Amos sighting. His presence has been few and far between this season.
Right.
And you guys are a different team when he's there than when he's not. No knock on Champ, but it's just a different level of quarterback IQ. You guys needed this win to try to stamp and solidify and guarantee a spot. With this win, Georgia Elite solidifies the undisputed number one seed in the league. They would not have been able to been caught had they won this game. This was a defensive battle. Points were hard to come by. They were really hard to come by. They were so hard to come by that neither one of y'all scored in regulation. It went to overtime, and there was only 1 point scored. No surprise here. You, Dwayne, both took Shockwave. Billy took Shockwave. So that would be an even loss for you guys with the Georgia Elite win. But with the Shockwave win, whoever won, yeah. But turns out Georgia Elite solidified the win with a 1-0 win
slackers
to take the number one spot in the league and finish as the regular season champions for the pro division for the first time. So congratulations to this version of Georgia Elite.
Yeah. Shout out to Georgia Elite. It was a good football game. We left a couple plays off on the field. We had a wide open receiver in the end zone that was overthrown. Wide open in the end zone. But yeah, that wasn't a whole lot of scoring opportunities. So you got to take it when it's there. We had two different opportunities to score, and we didn't. So, but I like this version of Georgia Elite. They stuck together out there. There wasn't a whole lot of bickering, what have you, that you've seen in the past. Mm-hmm. You know, in Montreal, he almost had a blowout, but but somehow he was able. Somebody gathered him back in, so it wasn't as bad. And so it was a good football game. You know what I mean? I'm happy to see Georgia Elite, you know, continue to make strides, man. So, and I hope to see them again this season for sure.
Well, you know, and that's actually key to their wins and losses, because I've seen in close games him blowing up and out of control have cost them the games, because when you get to the level of, you know, what he would usually display, you lose focus. Then your teammates lose focus. And then you're mad at them and they're mad at you, and then somebody just not play as hard, might not go for the ball as hard. You might throw it a little differently, and it can mess up the chemistry. So he did a lot better this season with that. So that's a shout out for him.
Yeah.
So moving on to the third game of the day, we had Rare Form, who's been eliminated, Shockwave, who's hanging on by a thread, needing this win to stay in contention. And then Rare Form was in the position to play spoilers to make some room on the sofa.
Billy says you won't.
But with an injured quarterback, that just wasn't going to happen. How many interceptions did y'all get off of him?
Who, the injured quarterback?
No, the one that took his spot.
Oh, it wasn't honestly.
Because I know y'all dropped a couple.
Yeah, we definitely no. He came in, he started, and we got a sack on him, and then he went out after the sack.
As he was injured, he couldn't play anymore.
Yeah, he couldn't. Yeah, he went back out. Yeah, he went back out. He did start the game, but he did go out at some point in the game. The other guy came in. You know, he's real fast. You know what I mean? But, you know, like I told the guys, man, just don't lose containment on him. I mean, he's not going to beat us in the pocket.
Yeah, he was really fast, but I'm just not sure that he can't throw.
No. He's not, you know. You got to have a system set just for that type thing. You know what I mean? But you know, he came in and did what he could. You know what I mean? But honestly, that game, it wasn't going to matter. Yeah, we wouldn't control that game the whole way.
So y'all won that game 6-0.
Right.
Keeping your playoffs hopes alive.
Right.
Now, it's my understanding that you guys left thinking that clinched your spot.
Yeah, we did.
But it did not.
Yeah, we heard.
There was danger lurking in the path ahead, which we'll get to. But again, you guys all picked Shockwave in that game, no difference. The next game, you had Joe World versus Got Game. And this was an upset in the making. Let's see, how can I spin this?
How can I spin this?
You know, I try to make it interesting, make a story, but
hard to make this one interesting.
There's really not much to say. Joe World won this 32-0.
Yeah.
It was I can't spin.
Not much spinning going on right now.
Next game we had.
To see that starter flag kid up close and personal was a sight to see.
Now we had a little dust up in this game. That was probably the most excitement that was there, but it was much to do about nothing. Then we had the Predators and Got Game. So with Joe World beating them 32-0, you would expect them to be just, it's over. You know, nothing's going on. Predators, you guys all picked Predators to win this game. Got Game scored.
What?
Got Game scored twice.
No. Really?
Got Game scored twice. The Predators scored 5 points. 5 points. I mean, there was another 30 that went along with it.
Oh, okay. I'm sitting there like, huh? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, so I think that was as creative I could be with that one. Predators won that 35-12.
But they really scored twice on the Predators, huh?
Oh no, they really did. They for them they torched the Predators defense because I think that's about equals the most they've scored this season. And then you had Joe World. And
So what did y'all see out of that? Did you see the potential greatness that you've heard about? No, seriously, just curious.
So, what I'll say is that I saw dedication.
Okay, I respect dedication.
The last 3 teams to go 0-10, by the time they got to the 9th and 10th game, they barely had anybody. Got Games still had the same people they had in week 1. So that was, that's dedication to the cause.
Dedicated to the cause. Gotta love it.
I believe that from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, they definitely improved. In their last 4 or 5 games, the last 4 out of the last 5 games, they did score. 2 of the games they scored multiple times. One of the games they were even leading by 2 scores before they lost the lead.
That's right. That's
So
that lead.
it was an improvement. So if this was the NFL, you would call this potential, because potential is stuff that can be there, you just don't see it right now. So based on what we've heard, I didn't quite see it yet.
No 4-2, 4-3s.
But they say they're coming back in the spring.
Yeah, in a different division.
I don't know. I don't know. They didn't say that.
Man.
They didn't say that. But they did say they'll be back.
Good.
And so I think now with the chance to have an off season to go over the things that they messed up on, I do anticipate them winning a game next season.
Yeah, just better winning the game.
Yeah. I do not think they'll be 0-10. I don't know how many they go win, but 0-10, I don't see that in the future.
As long as they go to the proper where they're supposed to be, then I agree with you.
I mean, they have unfinished business.
No, that's 0-10 is finished. I'm sorry. 0-10 is finished. Come on, man.
So the next game on the schedule was Joe World and Predators. This was also a game to determine second place.
Okay.
Predators having
Billy said we opening a D3 now. That's funny. But them. So let me ask you a question, Jay, before you move on. Who was the most competitive 0-10 team though? Yeah, them did Can't Beats, they didn't win a game, did they? And then what's the other team? Moneyball.
Moneyball.
Who would you consider was the most competitive of the 3?
The most competitive?
Yes.
I would have to say Got Game.
Really? Because they showed up every week?
Yeah, and yeah, because Kirk's team quit on him. Like Kirk was losing people all the time. Moneyball, I don't even know if they've ever had 10 people at the field.
Okay. That makes sense.
Got Game came out. You didn't see that. This was the first week that I saw blow-ups. Because then in the second game against Predators, we had a couple ejections. We had some huffing and puffing, But for the most part, they weren't out there complaining. too much. They came every week with the intention of winning, not the intention of just showing up. So I would say that I think they probably were the most competitive.
Okay, that's good.
Because, every week you saw the same people playing the same positions, trying to get better at it. It wasn't a whole lot of changing. Yeah. When I saw, with Can't Be, they had a rotating circus at quarterback. There was no stability there. When Moneyball top receiver got injured, the little bit of offense they had just went away. Because I don't think I've ever seen a person targeted 18 times in a flag football game.
Damn.
But that's how they would. So yeah, I would have to say God Game was the most competitive. But I think people need to revisit who they are. I think they need to understand that old man used to is dead and gone, and that you might have to reimagine the offense you're going to run and the defense you're going to run. And
hey,
I still say they have room for a few additional pieces.
Absolutely.
There was one glaring piece that probably should not be there unless they're running, unless they're about to use a fullback or a jet sweep with a lead block. I'm just not sure that that's the right piece.
Hey, man, I said if you put that joke at linebacker, man, I would go with him.
Oh, my God, linebacker?
He was at linebacker. I said I would go with him every Sunday.
Oh, God.
I was like, I would go with him every single play. Until you got him off that field. I'm just going to be like, man, I'm coming right back at you, buddy.
Whew. Okay.
Jalen said they were told they've been playing with their B team all season. The A team will be out there next season.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. That sounds good in theory. But, hey, man. Shout out to them for hanging in there. But I knew they were going to go 0-10.
I didn't expect them to go on.
I told y'all that week 1. I said they'll go 0-10. Did I not? I said we won.
But there were a couple of games that they definitely could have won. Especially the game where they were up 2 touchdowns. They could have won that one. There was another game they could have, there were 2 games that they definitely could have won, and they just let it slip away. And again, that's the other thing. The other 2 teams were never a threat to win a game.
Gotcha.
So,
KB never was a threat. Thought they had a couple close ones.
I think it might have been close, but I still don't think it was a threat.
Ooh.
Was that a catch?
Nah, he dropped it.
Okay.
All right.
So, yeah.
Just curious.
Next thing up on the agenda, we got, like I said, we got Predators and Joe World fighting for that number 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Who we got?
Good coverage.
1, 2, 3, 4.
He said, wait, are they going to the women's league? God dog, Billy. Hey, Billy. Hey, Billy, you jabbed and then you came back with the uppercut. Yeah, Wolfpack with 0-10. Yeah, I remember that, Gates. That was still surprising. But y'all, that wasn't straight rebuild mode then.
So, Angelo, you picked Predators. Billy picked Predators.
Mm-hmm.
This was a not so close game. This was a mini blowout.
Is that right? Oh, tell me.
One team was a lot more competitive than the other team this particular week.
Okay.
You and Billy both took a L. Joe World won this 22-6. Dwayne, unfortunately, you didn't pick up a win because you also picked Predators. So had you went against the grain, you would have won. But
oh wow.
The next game we had was winning that game gave Joe
22-6. Billy, what happened, man?
The number 2 seed. And now Predators were trying to hold on to be the number 3 seed, but smoke was coming up to.
So that solidified Joe World at number 2.
That solidified Joe World as number 2.
Okay.
Then you had, like I said, Smokes coming in the mix. And then, now up until that point, after Smoke could have knocked them out of number 2. But after those 2 games, they went to number 2. Predators were at number 3, and they were waiting. So you had DOA at Georgia Smoke. DOA needed to win this game to knock you guys, to be able to knock you guys out the playoffs. Smoke needed to win this game to continue on to be the number 2 seed.
So it was DOA's first game at this point.
This was DOA's first game.
Okay.
You took Smoke. Billy took Smoke. Dwayne, you took Smoke. I guess they were still smoking at the club because DOA took this game 6-0.
Is that right?
Yes. So you guys all took losses. But DOA knew the stakes. And they said that they were coming in hot.
It was their game.
And they
At that point, they were 5-4, right? Yeah.
So yeah. So and so they wanted to knock you out the playoffs. So they, coming in. The next game, DOA had to face YB. This was YB's first game of the day. They had been up and down this season. They came in 5-3 to the day. And they took care of business. They beat DOA 22-6, virtually knocking DOA out of the playoffs because at the time you guys beat DOA earlier head-to-head. So that gives you the advantage and locked your place into the playoffs, eliminated them from the playoffs. And now
What was the score?
22-6. So now we get to Smoke and YB for the last game of the day. Smoke, having lost the first game, needed this game to stay up. And YB needed this game to move up. So this game ended on a controversial note. And it's something I tell teams all the time. I'm gonna ask you, Angelo, how do you protest a game?
How do you protest again?
How do you protest? If you want to protest, what do you do?
Call a timeout, call the protest, put your $50 up.
Okay. We had a protest in this game.
Okay.
Unfortunately, one of the teams were told that they could not protest. And then the referee walked off. Their game was over.
So the referee told them they couldn't protest.
The referee told them they couldn't protest and then walked off. Told them the game was over.
Why was the game over?
Because, according to the team, so the team was driving, threw the pass to move the ball down the field, got the first down, but they had no timeouts left, and then spiked the ball. Then I was informed that there was a penalty thrown, and the referee ran and said, "Oh, well, that's a runoff. Game is over." Ran the time off the clock, said the game was over. And the team told me there was 22 seconds left on the clock at the time. I'm not sure of the exact time left, but number one, there's no runoff in flag football. You don't do that. But number two,
It used to be, though.
if it is a runoff, it wouldn't be 20 seconds or 22
It was 10
seconds.
second. It was 10
The
second.
max it could be would be 10 seconds.
Correct.
So, and then the team went back and forth with the referee. And instead of someone coming to get me immediately, they wasted time going back and forth with the referee. By the time they came over to get me, the referee was driving away. So at that point, we couldn't do anything. But they explained to me what happened, and I was like, wait a minute, that's just not correct. There's no runoff. And I immediately called and verified with
Head official.
I called Ed first. I couldn't get him, so then I called Z. Z told me that there's no such rule. And then I eventually got to Ed, and Ed told me the same thing. So then I called one of the coaches. I said, listen, don't leave yet. Because based on what I'm hearing right now, there might be a difference in the outcome of this game. And so then I called the other team over, and I asked them, okay, do you want to protest? Because the referee cannot tell you can't protest and then walk off. I won't allow that. I might not interfere with the judgment call on the field, but that's the fundamental basis. I'm not going to eliminate your right to do what the rules say you can do.
Right.
And so they went back and forth. You know, one player was about to pay.
They being the team?
Yeah, one player was about to pay, and the other player didn't want to pay and didn't think, whatever. They ended up not protesting. So we had a final score. Well, now that the play is over and nothing can be done about it, if the team had actually protested, they would have won the protest because they had a right to protest. But also, there's no runoff. So in that case, what would have happened was I would have told that other team that you guys have to finish this game. So it would have went back to the spot of the ball with the time left on the clock, and they would have finished it out. And then that team actually could have got in position to tie the game to take it to overtime and win it. But it didn't happen because they didn't protest. And so YB ended up winning that game 20-12. But like I said, I stopped Mont Sr. because I didn't want him to, you know, it's one thing for me to tell you right then and there. It's another thing to go home and then me calling you to tell me, oh, by the way, you got to finish this game, blah, blah, blah. Because then that's when people think, oh, you cheat and you do blah, blah, blah. But I stopped him immediately. No, don't go nowhere because this is not right. And, you know, Mont was like, hey, if they paid a $50 to protest, I'm okay with it, you know. So they didn't. But it was wrong. You know, I said something to Ed about it. I'm waiting for Tyree to.
So what was the actual protest? Was it the
rule?
runoff?
They were protesting the runoff.
Okay.
And that's legitimate, a protest.
Sure.
There's no runoff. So therefore, the game would not have been over, and they would have still had a chance to continue play.
Okay.
And so, but you know, refs just can't get in their feelings and run off the field like that, you know, at the end of the game and tell somebody you can't protest. And, you know, I felt they were upset, you know, and I understood.
So it used to be a runoff, like if you called a timeout you didn't have, you know what I mean? It would be.
See, right now, that's just a delay of game.
Yeah.
That's still not a runoff.
Yeah.
If you call a timeout and you don't have it, it's a penalty, you move on.
I'm talking about like at the end of the game, you know, some people you'll do something to create something knowing to stop the clock. You know what I mean? That's why they used to do that, they used to do that runoff. But I know they took that rule out, but
so, you know, I understand that, you know, Georgia Smoke was hot about that. They had every right to be. And I tried to make it right, you know.
But they didn't put the money up for the protest. They made that decision then.
Well, yeah, they decided not to.
Yeah.
They decided not to. But, you know, some of the people left with the understanding that I won't go do nothing about it and that blah, blah, blah. But I would have done something about it because you have that right.
Right.
Now, I can't do nothing about no judgment call. You can't protest that. That's basic. You can challenge it, but you can't protest it. And if they say what it is, that's what it is. But a protest, you know, I will handle that. You know, I think I was the first person in flag to take a win back from a team a week later because of a protest that happened at the end of the game. It was actually between Outsiders and Outcasts. And it was the last play of the game. The time expired. And Outcasts won. And Outsiders called me immediately and said they wanted to protest. I said, well, you got to pay your money. So they paid the money. But I was out of town. So I said, I'll be back in a week. And I'll handle it when I get back. And after I investigated, so the play was Outcast had the ball. It was 4th and goal, last play of the game. They threw an interception. Outsiders ran the ball out. and then in the process of the return, got a holding call. So the referee implied the rule that the possession goes to the last team that possessed the ball on the penalty, and gave the ball back to Outcast. Outcast then scored a game-winning touchdown. But
Man, they got the holding call on the run out.
yes,
The
but
ball chain possession.
that's how they misapplied the rule.
Okay.
Because the rule said go back to the team. It was but it was an offset. It was Outcast, but then Outsiders, I believe, got a flag guarded. So there was offsetting penalties. And then the rules say the ball go back to the team that had the last possession. But because the penalty came after the interception, Outsiders was the team that had possession of the ball.
Both penalties happened after the change of possession.
Yes.
Okay.
And so they misapplied who the actual was supposed to get it. And so when I got back and got that, I said, well, then that's absolutely not the case. Outsiders had possession of the ball. They should have gotten the ball. Outcast should have never gotten that extra play. So I took that play back and gave the win to Outsiders because that's what was supposed to have happened. That's what would have happened had I been there.
Right.
And so, sometimes people want you to make the right thing, but then get mad when you do. Now, Outcast was pros about it. They was like, hey, we knew we shouldn't have won it, and, we're not surprised about the outcome. But, yeah, so that's something that, again, we're going to try to make sure that we have, the correct officials out there for the playoffs to make sure that this does not happen to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, but nobody should be told they can't protest. That's
That was my issue. Being told you cannot protest and leave when it was
crazy.
a rule that they were protesting.
That's when jokers get into their feelings, and that's the part you want to eliminate from that position. Don't get into your feelings. So I think I said I remember saying at the beginning of the season when everybody was worried about YB, I said, man, they might lose one more game the rest of the season, and that's all. So I felt pretty good they were going to do what they needed to do.
So the pro division ended as follows. Georgia Elite is the number 1 seed with a 9-1 record. Joe World is number 2 with an 8-2 record. Predators and YB are tied at 7-3, but Predators has the point differential advantage, so they came in number 3, YB number 4. Georgia Smoke at number 5 with a 6-4 record. And squeaking out that last playoff spot at number 6 would be Shockwave with a 5-5 record, tied with DOA, but owning the head-to-head matchup as well as the point differential. Rare Form is number 8 at 3-7. Got Game was number 9 at 0-10.
Over and under with 5 games.
You said it would take 5 games, and it took 5 games plus a win in a head-to-head.
So YB and Georgia Smoke ends in controversy, and they get to play first game out the shoot.
YB
How about that?
will play Georgia Smoke in the first round.
Hey, how about that?
Joe World will host.
The world got the bye, right?
No, I'm sorry. Joe World and Georgia Elite have a bye, and Predators will host you guys. How are you feeling about that matchup?
It's playoffs, man. I feel good about any matchup. And I'm being honest. I feel, we lost 5 games this season. But I think if you combine all of our games, it might have been 10 points. You know what I mean? That's how close all the games were with us being short and what have you all season long. So I feel like everybody show up, man. We're in good position. I care nothing about the record at this point. At this point, you 0-0.
And Billy, how do you feel about your chances against Shockwave? I see you said you beat YB head to head. Oh yeah, you did. That's why you.
You're 3 seed.
But how do you feel about your chances against Shockwave? crybaby, tell your mama get you a piece of pie. Who he talking about? Oh, David, refs walked off and said he didn't want to hear it. An offensive penalty ran off 22 seconds. Refs got into the car and pulled out. Nobody to pay after the LOL. Ref had left. Yeah, everything Gay saying is correct. Billy said that they're going to beat y'all just like they did the last game.
I like it. He's supposed to say just that. Anything else be uncivilized. I like it.
What's the weak link, Billy? Oh, you say Dwayne? Shockwave was not missing the playoffs. I told y'all that. Landro had it all back.
We there. We right there, Charles, as predicted, brother. I already told Lo they won't see G again this season. That's what he said earlier.
So that means that you're not gonna see him because they're about to take you out.
That's what he's trying to insinuate.
Okay,
I get it.
So, what do you think about? Do you think that anybody that's in the current pro division needs to take a look at looking at another division of the teams
in the
that
pro division?
The teams that didn't make the playoffs.
Well, you know what? I will say this. I think Rare Form is a competitive team. They got a lot of good players on their team. I know they didn't have everybody either. Quarterback, you said, was injured. I think they're competitive. I think DOA is a competitive team. You know, naturally, those are the only two teams we're really talking about.
No, there's got
no. Those are the only two teams we're really talking about. So, I think, depending on how many teams you have, naturally, regardless of what happens in the other division, outsiders should definitely have to come up. You know what I mean? Everybody else in that division, I think, can still fight their way through. I don't see nobody has made those strides yet. You know, I think a Rare Form and DOA are still competitive teams, and
to stay in the pro.
I think they could.
At 3-7, you think that they're
Rare Form's 3-7, but I don't think Rare Form. I don't know if they were blown out too much. You know what I mean? Now, do I think they should stay in the pro? No, I didn't think they should have moved up in the first place, personally.
Okay. And that's
but
what
they moved
saying.
up because they won the championship. You know what I mean? But so I think they had. I think
they didn't have to.
Well, I think it's right for them to because especially when they came in here and popped it. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know they said they weren't worried about nobody, so I felt like they had to move up. You know what I mean? And but you know, I think if you hear from them, they feel like they still there. So I ain't mad at it.
6-0 against Predators. They lost 10-8 against Joe World. They lost 11-6 against YB. They lost 14-0 against Rare Smoke. And lost 14-6 against Georgia Elite. And 6-0 against y'all. So I guess their biggest loss was against Smoke, about 14 points, but everything else was
That's what I'm saying. They were competitive.
A touchdown.
I'm saying they're a competitive team. I think they made a lot of strides. I don't think they. I think they could stay. You know, I don't think they're championship ready yet. You know what I mean? But I definitely think they can get better. You know, but I think they're right there on the brink. If they want to go down, I would respect that. If they want to stay up, I respect that. I don't think they're in a better position than Got Game. I mean, Got Game shouldn't be in the pro division. You know what I mean? And no, they just need to learn.
Even though it was the B team?
Huh? Oh, yeah, that's what they said, right? People need to learn the game, man. I mean, we've said all the time, we've seen super athletes come through this thing, man. You got to learn this game. You don't learn this game, man, you can't succeed. You know what I mean? People disrespect this level of flag football, man, but people who take this game seriously, man, you just can't come in here and just think you're going to, I don't care who you are. Everybody's had to go through those growing pains. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? It's just how it is, man. So, but
Okay.
yeah, and DOA, I don't know about DOA. I think even though they had a better record,
Now,
I mean, I think they're both competitive teams, man. Honestly, I think they're both competitive teams. I don't think neither one of them could win a championship in pro, but I think they both could be competitive in pro. That's my honest opinion.
so DOA lost to Shockwave 8-zip. They lost to Joe World 9-zip. They lost to Georgia Elite 17-zip. And they beat Smoke 6-zip and lost to YB 22-6. So they didn't really score much against the pro teams. But they took care of the comp teams.
Charles.
So
People wouldn't even believe that, Charles. They wouldn't even believe it either, man. But you know, it's better them days, man. Everybody go through them growing pain, coming. But you know, I think they're both competitive teams, man. I really do. Like I said, I don't think either one of them are ready. You know, just like this playoffs. We're gonna talk about the playoffs
we're about to, yeah.
Okay. Before I start speaking on it.
So I just wanted to look. So okay, so now we got
We gotta do predictions for comp first, huh?
comp, the schedule.
Here we go, Dwayne. About to make our picks.
Now,
But you are
There-
All-American now, Charles.
there are some interesting quirks over here.
Okay.
Okay, so at this point, no matter what happens, well, wait a minute, hold on. Outsiders, did they play United? Let me see. The Outsiders and United play. Oh, okay. So yeah, I had to check that before because I was going to say no matter what happens, Outsiders will be the number 1 seed, but that's not true. Outsiders are currently 8-0. United are 6-2. If Outsiders were to lose these 2 games and United were to win these 2 games, United would then be the number 1 seed. And United plays Outsiders the last game of the day. So we could potentially be looking at
Quintez said them folk they didn't let me run down the kickoff back in the day. That's hilarious.
we could potentially be looking at a swap in the number 1 spot. If Outsiders loses 2 and United wins 2 and they play each other, so that's one of the 2 games.
Oh, they play each other. Oh.
The last game of the season, they play each other.
Interesting.
Outside United could take the number 1 spot.
Interesting.
So let's get to that schedule.
Yeah.
Because let me give you the standings. So currently, Outsiders are number 1, United is number 2, Raiders are number 3. They've risen from the dead. Fly By Night is 4, Outcast is 5, Swamp Bucks is 6, and LOZ is 7.
Dang.
But the number,
And only 16 make it, right?
yeah, but the number 4, 5, 6, and 7 can all swap. No, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 can all change.
Wow.
Only 2 that won't change will be the 1 and 2.
1 and 2 slots.
So any of the other remaining 5 teams can swap places. So people that are in can currently be out. People that are out can currently be in. So this is just as a bigger week for them as it was for you guys. And so we can start that off with, we'll open the day at Fly By Night at LOZ. Fly By Night is currently 2-6. LOZ is 1-7. Well, let me give you the records of the last 5 teams. So Raiders are 3-5. Fly By Night and Outcast are 2-6, and Swamp Bucks and LOZ are 1-7. So the magic number is 3-7 to clinch the playoffs.
Wow.
But it could be any of those 5
Any of them
teams
could do it.
because and they all play one another.
It's interesting how Fly By Night, you would have thought that they would have made a bigger jump because they were in the pro last season, and so to go down and to be struggling like that is kind of
Went down.
yeah, it's kind of surprising.
Down, yeah. And so both teams need this win to keep their playoff hopes alive. It ain't no one or the other. Both of them need
Billy
it.
already picked Fly By Night. I see.
Okay. Let me get my thing out.
He said, "No, let me say LOZ." All right, which one is it, Billy?
Dwayne, Fly By Night or LOZ? And I know this is a tough decision.
God dog, what are you doing over there? Dwayne? Oh, you looking for a mic. I was like, I
I'm
can't see the light on me.
Fly By Night.
Okay.
So Billy going LOZ. Dwayne Fly By Night.
What say you, Angelo? I know it's hard, right?
It is, man. I mean, because I saw some good things from LOZ. I was expecting better.
I'm gonna go out on a. I'm rarely gonna do this, and I know somebody gonna say I'm hating, but I'm gonna pick this week on all the games. I'm gonna say
Okay.
LOZ.
That's what I'm leaning towards, too. That's what I'm leaning towards, LOZ. Final answer.
LOZ.
Yeah.
Dwayne, you can start out with us advantage already. The next game we got is LOZ at Georgia Raiders. Again, both teams need this win to make the playoffs. But if Raiders win, they will secure a playoff spot because no other team can get to 4 wins.
Well, I can't give LOZ 2-0. That's why I gotta go with the Raiders.
You can't give them 2 wins because they need this second win to be in contention. If they go 1-1, it's gonna be hard for them to make it. But then again, other teams can go to it, so it can be a battle of the 2 and 7.
Billy got the Raiders as well.
Dang, man. Y'all don't want to pick LOZ so I can pick Raiders?
Gonna go with John, man. John for the breakaway touchdown.
I'm gonna take LOZ.
I got LOZ.
I'm gonna take LOZ.
I mean, I'm trying to catch up. LOZ.
Because I think Raiders.
I think Raiders, if they team show up there, they have more athletes. But
I think Raiders may slack off in this because they can still win the next one and get in. So I'm gonna pick LOZ for this week. Billy, pick 2.
That is wild, ain't it, Gates? But to their credit, most of them had half of their losses coming when they under cross rival games. Outside of outsiders.
Listen, I mean, Gates, you're right. And that's why I only took 5 teams versus taking all 7, you know? I think 4 would have been cutting it a little bit too.
2 teams don't make it.
Yeah,
Oh, snap.
2 teams don't make it.
I thought just 1 team didn't make it.
No, it's 2. Because, I mean, it's sad that a 3-7 team is making it, but yeah, if generally speaking, when you lose that many games, you don't do anything. But I will say, a couple in the spring season, Swamp Bucks snuck in on the last game of the season with a 3-7 record. Went to the championship game.
Yeah.
And would have won the championship game if their players didn't, I would say, showboat.
Right.
They got so cocky that they messed around and let Raiders run that ball all the way back. Mm-hmm. And they really should have won that championship game. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah. And then there was when we did the best of the rest bracket, we had a 0-10 team that won. That's when PNF won. I forgot we had a fourth 0-10 team, PNF that year, but then they ended up winning the best of the rest. So, so Billy took the Raiders.
PNF be going in and out, don't they? They're not consistent at all.
They play every other season because they work schedules and stuff like that. The next game we got is Outcast at Fly By Night. Now, Fly By Night would definitely have needed to win this game to stay in contention since you guys gave the first round to LOZ, except for Dwayne. Again, Outcast needs this win to stay in contention.
Who going first?
I'm going to take Outcast.
I got Outcast as well. Billy got Outcast.
Dwayne
I
is
got
on
Fly
you?
By Night going 2-0.
Huh?
He going with FBN.
Okay. You'll take a lead on this if you do that. Now, this is a chance for Raiders to make a statement in this next game and prove that they do belong in the playoffs and a chance to be the first two-time comp division champions. Outsiders win this game, they'll solidify the number one seed. Won't be able to be caught. Outsiders' defense is very, very stout. But if Raiders have everybody there, they can look to make some noise. Mm-hmm. Dwayne will give you the first pick.
Yes, I'm going to go Outsiders.
Low.
Yeah, I mean, I can't go at anything but Outsiders at this point. They seem to be the hot team over there.
Billy?
Billy got Outsiders.
Gonna
thank you, Ted. Everybody, man, go and hit that like button. Hit those buttons on the side for us. Appreciate that, brother.
So I'm gonna pick.
If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe while you're on here.
The Raiders. I'm gonna pick the Raiders. This is gonna be my upset of the week.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that the Outsiders come in
Looking ahead.
I
can see that.
The Raiders are fighting tooth and nail. And this is going to make that last game very interesting. So I'm going to pick the Raiders for the upset.
Okay.
Next, we got Big Swamp at Outcast. Big Swamp needs this win to make the playoffs. Outcast. Well, you know what? The rest of the schedule, everybody need to win to make the playoffs. So we ain't got to repeat that.
In reality, right?
In reality. Swamp Bucks, Outsiders, Outcast, Dwayne. Can the Swamp Bucks pull off another miracle?
Y'all pick first, so I know where to go.
Well, I got to go Outcast again.
Outcast?
Billy got Swamp Bucks.
I got Swamp Bucks too.
I'm gonna
Dwayne
take
got
Swamp Bucks. I think
Well, I get this one. I think I'd be able to comfortably walk away.
I feel like Swamp Bucks are gonna come out with something to prove. I think everybody's gonna come out. All the people are gonna show up and just win, lose, or draw. This might be their last good stand this season to, just fight for what they can because they're not out. Next we have Outsiders at United.
Obvious game of the week, huh?
Game of the week, prime time. This the 425 national broadcast.
Smoke Dogs all Jane. That's how you feel, huh? You pick them boys over outside.
You know, I ain't gonna hear the end of that, right?
He just going for the drama setup.
Smoke,
That's all.
I'm just saying that y'all gonna overlook
He
them.
trying to set it up.
Yeah, gotta make it interesting. Y'all gonna come out and overlook them. Paul go underestimate the line.
Billy got United. Okay, Billy, step on out there. Billy said he don't believe Smoke Dog. He said he don't believe in all the hype. He picked United without hesitation. What you got, D-Wayne? Does the Outsiders go 10-0? Or the United still the number one seed?
Well, I don't know if their United's leader gonna be back because it's his birthday today.
Game. He will be there.
Happy birthday, Justin, man.
Oh yeah, happy birthday! It is. Oh wait a minute, he went out of town.
Yeah. So,
But he the quarterback. He got to be there.
because of that, I'm gonna go Outsiders.
Outsiders.
But I think it's gonna be a good game.
So did I pick United win the first game, right?
No, this is their first game.
Or the United first game?
Mm-hmm.
Outsiders second game.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd you pick, Dwayne?
Dwayne picked Outsiders.
Shout out from the Philippines. What's up, Matthew? Appreciate that, brother.
So Dwayne gave Justin a birthday loss.
Billy said, I think
but
they're going
happy
to let this
birthday.
slip, but still win the B championship.
I mean, I think United definitely can win. I'm not picking them because of that. I'm picking the Outsiders said they was gonna win it all, man. Finish the drill.
Maybe the Outsiders decide to rest some people to make sure they win it all.
Yeah, and like Justin said the last time he was here, I think they got the last win. United got the last win.
That is true.
So I mean,
So who you picked?
I still picked Outsiders because I told them I wasn't gonna pick against them. So they got it.
United outside. Right now, I'm gonna stay with the high hand. I'm gonna stay with the high hand until somebody knock them off. So I'm going Outsiders.
And the last game of the day,
Oh, I want to change my pick to United.
Dwayne changed his pick to United.
okay.
So him and Billy got United.
And the last game of the day, we got United at Big Swamp.
Well, I'm gonna pick United, hoping they pick Swamp Bucks.
Swamp needs this game at this point. They absolutely must have this game to get in the playoffs. They do not make the playoffs without this win, even if they win the first one. Because
Viewer's choice for the ship is Outcast. Tez, okay. I like that pick. Outcast has been known to slip under the radar. Billy got United. Who was this game again? United and Swamp Bucks? Yeah, I got United.
So you don't see the miracle.
Then you said my Swamp Bucks are 1-7.
Again, they were 1-7 going into that season when they went to the championship.
This ain't that season. They were fresh. Nobody really had a chance to see them then. Everybody's seen them now. This ain't that season. Unless some upset happen, man. You got a collision course between these two. I look like Outsiders United or the collision course. This is why
I got United.
This is why I tell
They
like
1-2 no matter what, right?
yeah. This is why
No, well, yeah, between the two of them, one will be 1 and one will be 2. And Raiders win one game and they'll be number 3. Billy, who did he pick?
Billy got United.
Okay. So,
You saw the shout out from the Philippines by Matthew.
I saw that. Who was that? From the Philippines.
That's dope though.
Huh?
That's a dope shout out.
Yeah.
National.
Well, the Saints were the hottest team after week 2, boy. Boy, they done fell off.
Fell all the way off. Fell off so bad they look worse than Dallas.
That's why the quarterback is the highest paid position in football. This is the reason why.
Yeah.
It's hey,
But honestly, I'm surprised that Bo Nix is looking this decent. I didn't expect much from him.
I think it's systems, man. Quarterbacks and systems are a true statement, and Sean Payton said from the beginning, Bo Nix is my guy. He felt like he just fell into a system perfectly. I don't see him being a Drew Brees, but
But and this is also a little get back to, he was preparing for this game.
of course, he don't know who knows his team better than him, and the coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but they still look bad.
So that's gonna this is gonna set our playoffs in motion. As of right now, unless something new happens, the playoffs will be at Carver and McNair. The pro and the women will be at Carver. The comp will be at McNair. Unless a new development happen between now and the end of the week, that's how it's going to be. I should have a time frame out probably tomorrow.
So the women's game is gonna be all first, or they're gonna be mixed in? Or you have a thought
At
process on that?
Carver.
Yeah,
The women will be first.
women be first, then the men after that.
Yeah, the women will be first, then the men. And that'll make sure that all the men can coach their women
Gotcha.
and then get to their games with
Makes
no
sense.
problems.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then we'll come back next week.
All the playoff predictions, huh?
All the playoff predictions, the matchups, and the early. So, your pre-playoff predictions. Give me the 3 champions.
3 champions:
Yeah.
APOP, Shockwave, Outsiders. Outside United game though, because I think they'll see each other in the ship. That's gonna be a good one.
Dwayne.
And I mean Shockwave too, man. I want y'all to know that, jump. I ain't saying this lightly.
Huh? Billy, your pre-playoff prediction? Thank you, Dr. Walker. Is Billy still with us? For the women, I mean, APOC is the definitely forerunners. But I do see a potential for an upset. It'll be hard, but I believe it could be a possible upset.
The Storm. Who's the most upset potential, Storm or Bama? Am I on between the teams we talking about?
I think the more upset would be Storm. But see, Storm and Bama are gonna have to play each other to get to APOC. And that is what I believe will give APOC the advantage, because whoever plays them in the championship is going to be coming off a back-to-back game. And that was kind of what I was trying my best to find two fields, because I don't like one team having to sit and wait on a team and then play them. Because, just like with the double elimination, you get the advantage of rest.
Sure.
So in the comp division, it's gonna be. I'm gonna probably give the advantage to outsiders because it's gonna be an earlier game, and we know that impacts United.
Has anyone run the table in the comp division yet?
No.
I didn't think so.
No. So this will be the first time.
If they can pull it off, huh?
Unless they pull off a Patriots.
Interesting. Interesting, outsiders. Y'all get a chance to doggone be the first to run the tables. That'll be interesting.
It ain't ever easy a shot wave involved. Okay.
Better tell them, Charles.
And then in the pro division, man, this is gonna be. Let me look at that again, because
one thing we know for sure, you got the 6 teams that's, everybody in there were the ones that, you assume was going to be there from the beginning. Maybe not in the order, but everybody felt like those 6 teams were going to be there in the beginning. So I like it.
I think
I like it a lot.
In the championship game, looking at the path, I believe Joe World has the easier path, and none of it's easy. But I think they have an easier path on their bracket than Georgia Elite has on its. Because Joe World's going to play the winner of Predators YB. No, I'm sorry. That's wrong.
Predators Shockwave.
Predators, Joe World. Joe World's going to play the winner of Predator Shockwave, and Elite's going to play the winner of it, Smoke and YB. We'll
play the Predators, and one of our games play the 2 seed. 2 seed is Joe World.
Yeah.
YB the 4-5. YB Georgia Smoke the 4-5. They'll play the 1 seed.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if neither of the 1 and 2 seeds made it to the ship. I wouldn't be surprised. Just saying.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would be now. Oh, because you on that side. I can't even call this one. If I call it, I'm hating. But
yeah, I can't blame you.
God, it's hard because, Georgia Elite are the 1 seed, but
they're gonna have their hand full.
They got their hands full. That YB Smoke matchup. Now, Gates say they resting people for nationals. I don't know if he meant that or not, because if he does that, then of course YB comes away easily over there. But
I don't even know what that means. I know what that means.
But a fully loaded Georgia Smoke team with everybody there, base versus a YB team, and I don't know that we've seen the whole YB this season, because I just don't know who they really got. But
You'll know playoff time because everybody gonna be there.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it'll probably be very similar to that tournament team.
And I'm gonna just say this to all teams, no, not directing to that no team, but it's for all teams. The rosters are open; people can see. Now, let me correct that. That's not what I said. The rosters are visible. Okay, everybody can see your roster. Please do not come out there with somebody to try to say you thought they were on your roster, because it's too late at this point. It's been too late. So if somebody challenges your roster, that ain't no whack, weak, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it.
It's you showing up. With
Play by the rules, man.
Yes, it is. So, but
Cause ain't nobody gonna turn out no money for pride. Forget that. you have a fake roster, dog. Go there. Oh well.
But I think if Georgia Elite makes it to the championship, that's a major accomplishment.
It will be.
Whether they win it or not, that is major.
It will be.
I mean, I think shout out number one for they're the regular season champions.
Absolutely.
Having played the other teams too. They ain't duck nobody.
Charles, you stupid.
But to make it to the championship, that's a lot. And I definitely think this is gonna play a long ways with them going towards nationals.
No, I agree. This will be big for them for sure.
Because they're still D3.
Yeah, this will be big for them for sure. I mean, I think their season, like I said at the beginning of the show, I have thoroughly enjoyed watching the improvement of Georgia Elite. I like those guys from Smoke to the whole crew, man. I like that team. And they made, having that daggone monster over there helping them out this season, Trey. I mean, that kid there, he one of them dudes. He's one of them dudes.
I think I would say YB would be my most dangerous.
That make most sense. Because I'm sitting like, I don't even know what that means.
What do you say?
He said he meant for regular season, not the playoffs.
Okay. Because I ain't understand. I was like,
I don't know what that means.
So with that being said, a fully loaded Smoke team versus YB that just ended the way it ended, man, that's going to be...
That's going to be a heck of a first game.
That's a heavyweight round right there on the first game.
I agree.
And then, like I say, I see Joe World coming on the other side of the bracket. If everybody show up and nobody gets disqualified for leaving trash after the first game, I see Joe World coming out that other side.
I mean, you got to respect
as the favorites.
They added a lot of talent over there.
But I don't think anybody can sleep on the veteran set of Shockwave, because you guys are known to surprise people, and when it looked like you ain't in it, you in it. So this pro bracket is gonna be tough, which is why we had to cut it off, because I don't think anybody under you had really real shot at doing anything, and I think
being realistic.
6 was the magic number.
Yeah, it's being realistic.
Come check out these comp games on Sunday if you ain't got nothing going on, because again, they're all battling for something. It's not, it's no cakewalk for anybody. We also want to shout out our ladies out in Myrtle Beach this weekend. Georgia Vibe, Atlanta Storm, APOC, Bama Fire, Atlanta Rage, the Lynn Lewis tournaments out there. So we hope that you guys bringing some hardware back to Atlanta for us. Gates is actually going out there to coach as well. So shout out to them out there.
Shout out to all the ladies out there, man. Y'all do y'all thing.
And
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Again, we got Halloween Havoc coming up on the 9th and the 10th. So please go ahead and get your teams registered for that, so that we don't have to be waiting to the last minute on that. And make sure you get registered. Is that a pick 6? Make sure you get registered for nationals if you haven't done so already. Havoc's going to be at Warren Holder Park. It's only going to be Saturday and Sunday. And like I said, for anybody, if anybody play basketball, we got our basketball tournament coming up, our 4-on-4 basketball tournament, which is going to be at McNair High School. So that's going to be interesting. I know we had some ladies teams and men's teams that have already shown interest. So get your sign-ups for that as well. And yeah, that's all we got this week. Angelo?
Welcome to the NFL, Spencer Rattler. All right, man. Well, listen. Good luck to the comp teams playing this week. It should be interesting to see if outsiders can run the regular season gauntlet undefeated, or if United can pull off the upset and set the tone for the next week. And can any of these other teams, man, see who's gonna come out that bottom? You got 4 teams battling for 2 slots, right?
5 teams.
5 teams battling for.
Well, no. Yeah, 5 teams.
So 5 teams still active.
5 teams.
God, dog.
Only outsiders and United have clinched.
Wow.
Everybody else is battling.
Wow. So that's be an interesting week for the Continental Division then. So good luck to everybody, man. They all at McNair, I'm assuming?
No, they're going to be at Carver.
They're going to be at Carver. Okay. I might swing through there at Carver. All right. They're going to be at Carver. Good luck to all those squads, man. And next week, we'll be back for all the playoff predictions. It's that time. Playoff predictions next week. That being said, ATL Flag Football Podcast, and we out.